that was an absolutely unbelievable representation of the MVP of the league and the best player on the floor. Like, there were certain possessions where some of that stuff, it is so unstoppable. Like, Matherin is in his airspace, and he just rises and fires so that he's, like, too little.
Yeah.
And and the fadeaway stuff from the baseline, like, he is just, he controlled the entire game and was by far the best player on the floor. Like, I always say this, if you took somebody that's never watched basketball in their life and you sat them down and you said, all right, watch this game, they would tell you who the first pick on the court is.
Yeah, he was
right?
He was cold. He was good. And I think he took less shots this time. It was more like, because game one, I felt like he was chucking a little. He did like a little hero ball, little chucking.
He didn't trust. He wasn't trusting those guys.
He wasn't trusting his teammates. I think last night he trusted them a little bit more. He got to his spots. He was 11 for 21. Like, that's
in fairness, on the whole, you never watched basketball before, and you decide, like, okay, I've never watched basketball, but that guy's for sure the best guy, right? Like, I mean, it's kind of like if you watch these NHL things, you turn it on, you're like, okay, the McDavid guy,
when he it looks nothing. It looks like nothing else out there.
You could honestly, somebody that's never watched hockey in their life turns that on, they're like, oh yeah, that's the guy.
That's the best player. Yeah.
So that's kind of how it feels with SGA in a game like last night. Now, in fairness, if we're doing the whole, hey, you've never watched basketball, now watch this game in your draft, you might have taken Aaron Wiggins second.
No, for real, you would have.
Do they have 4 guys who would have led the Pacers in scoring last night?
I know. This Wiggins guy.
Yeah, they were fantastic. What were you going to say on the whole SGA front?
No, like I think part of also maybe not trusting the teammates at the first game. Like, dude, they couldn't make anything. Like, Jalen and Chet were bad. Like,
Yeah.
So he tried to take things into his own hands.
Exactly. Yeah. But last night he kind of like got off the ball a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? Did a little less. He was amazing on defense too.
They were great.
I think people
how about the steal from behind?
Yeah,
where he just reached out his arm and like snatched it. I was like,
people talk about how good he is like in the ISO and scoring, but I think SGA is like a high quality defender, bro. Like high, because he was a defender before he was a scorer.
And what's disgusting is he might be the 5th best,
right?
Exactly.
In some of their lineups.
Exactly. Dude's
switch from Wallace to Caruso to Dort, and you're like, okay, I'm going down the layers of hell.
Yeah, good luck, bro.
And that's the truth on the Haliburton front. He's in hell.
Yeah, he is.
Got Lou Dort on him. He's in the torture chamber. Now, here's the deal. Let me just speak on the Haliburton front. I don't know if we have ever had an NBA player like this where we've had these discussions, because you have a common sentiment amongst many of the viewers and NBA fans, which is like, hey, come on, man, like, impose your will, do more, right? Because we oscillate between, is he a superstar? Is he a top 10 player? Exactly. Look at these amazing things he's done. But the truth is, again, I don't know if we've ever had anybody like this. We are trained as NBA fans to focus on the star player, right? Yeah. You are the star. We look at the star and we look at the coach and we say, this is what this is, right? And whether you were to look at like the usage rate or any of that kind of stuff, right? So like we look at Anthony Edwards and we say, all right, if you take Anthony Edwards out, it's going to have a profound effect on them. And if you take SGA, if you try to make life hard on him, then you can have a profound effect on their team. And so, but even going into this, you remember when I was like, bro, their leading scorer is Siakam. And then it's Tyrese Haliburton, and then it's Miles Turner, and they're all kind of between 16 and 19. Mm-hmm. And it's like, and then Nembhard gets you 12, and then Nesmith gets you 11, and then Obi Toppin gets you 8, and then McConnell gets you 8. And it's like, they don't function like any other NBA team. And so, frankly, that we've ever seen at this level. Like, we just don't see teams like this where it's like, it may be, I mean, I'd have to go back and look, but like those 04 Pistons that had Mr. Big Shot in Chauncey Billups, but it wasn't like Chauncey Billups and then the other guys. It was Chauncey Billups and Rip Hamilton and Rasheed Wallace and Ben Wallace and Tayshaun Prince. And it's like all these guys that like kind of do something, right? And then here's the guy that makes the big shots. But we try to have and because he shows up as a superstar level performer every once in a while, right?
You feel like you have to push him into that conversation because he does it every once in a while.
Because he does it every once in a while. Sure. And yet, we've gone the whole playoffs, and he's not even the leading scorer on that team. And the way they function, we talk about basketball teams through the prism of the star and the other guys, but they don't function as the star and the other guys. He's just kind of one of everybody.
So, Dev, we talked about this on Friday, because if you look at go to the Cavs series, like how all these shots that Haliburton's hitting, if you look at it, you go to the Cavs series. Well, they get to that point. It's not like Haliburton just got him to that point and then he hit the crazy shot. It was Neesmith, it was Mathurin, and it was Nembhard. And that Knicks game 1, bro, it was for him to hit that top or the back of the iron and then it bounces up and goes in. Bro, Aaron Neesmith hit like 5 threes in the last like 5.
Like how he carried
he went insane. And then in game 1, it was Neesmith hitting a 3, then Nembhard hitting a 3, then Pascal Siakam getting an offensive rebound and a putback to get to that point for Haliburton.
I mean,
to hit that shot.
I'm looking down through usage rate for the NBA playoffs. Interestingly enough, I wish they would filter out for minutes because the funniest thing ever is that the highest usage rate is Dalton Connect in his 4 minutes of playoff basketball. But no, like these, but these other names at the top, like this is how we talk about guys, right? So guess what? Paolo Banchero. Then Giannis Antetokounmpo. Then, interestingly enough, Lamar Stevens.
Shout out Lamar, man.
Yep. Donovan Mitchell is in there. Like, if we're just going through the stars, right? Luka Doncic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Franz Wagner, Jalen Brunson, Ja Morant, Jason Tatum, Cade Cunningham, Jaylen Brown, Darius Garland, Nikola Jokic, Anthony Edwards. Like, Steph Curry, you can scroll down. I'm looking for Haliburton on this. Here's Desmond Bane. Here's Russell Westbrook. Here's Jaren Jackson Jr. Here's TJ McConnell. Like, bro, where is he? Where is he on usage rate?
Yeah.
This is for the playoff. He's 52nd. He's 52nd. 21.9. Yeah. So I'm like, he does not function. Like, it's weird because all these guys, like you look at, like you take like the Palos and the Giannis's and the Donovan Mitchells and the Lukas and what, like that's how those teams function. And it's like, we get to these points and it's like Tyrese Haliburton, like you turn on ESPN this morning and it's like, he's got to start. He hasn't this whole time.
Yeah.
He hasn't. Like, that's not what he does.
No. Siakam's
you
the leading scorer.
You could tell in that fourth quarter they were trying to get him more involved. That's what I'm saying. Like that fourth quarter, you noticed you had to be more aggressive. Like why did you not notice that in the first quarter?
Right.
That's my thing. It's like you were getting downhill. You were coming off Iverson screens. And you were getting to the floater. I'm like, where was that? Like 3 quarters ago when you were, you know what I'm saying? Like it was too late.
It's odd, and they don't like function like a team where it's like, here's the guy, and everybody's playing off the guy.
Yeah.
Like all these teams.
Yeah.
Go through these like long spurts of time where it's like, there's the guy, and everybody's playing off the guy. And then when, and look, Haliburton's, he's befelled with the same problem that everybody else is, which is you're sitting there, and at the beginning of the series, we're going, hey, like, geez, is Ja okay? And then it's obviously, is Anthony Edwards? Like, what's wrong with Anthony Edwards? And Anthony Edwards has to do this. And it's like, again, you're playing against one of the great defenses of all time.
Yeah.
But it's just odd.
Yeah.
Tyrese Haliburton he's now being, because of these big shots that he's hit and some of the big games that he has had, he's now being elevated to this spot where he's in this discussion. We discuss Tyrese Haliburton the way we discuss other superstars and the way they function, and it's like, that's what we're used to. Like, bro, your guy's got to get it done. And yet, throughout the playoffs, he has way lower usage than any of the other guys that we would have that discussion about. Like, they just play as a 5-man unit.
Yeah.
But because of his
moments.
Yeah, because of his moments, it's like, bro, why aren't you going out there and getting 30 and 15? That's not how they play. Like, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's got a 32 usage rate, which is extremely high.
Extremely high, yeah.
That's every
It's
time.
extremely high. Like, it functions off of him.
Nobody touches the
yeah.
rock except him.
Right?
Yeah.
And it is odd, though, because that game got away from them in that second quarter when Haliburton went to the bench.
That's what I'm saying. It
was odd.
They went two bigs. They took Hallie, put him on the bench, and they went from a 2-point game to a 12-point game?
Yeah, it was fast. It was like a 17-2 run.
Yeah,
it was
went
fast.
happened quick. So it's like you could tell the car doesn't function without the engine a little bit. You could tell. But even when the engine's out there, it kind of like sputters.
But there's just so much that he like does not function like his star peers. They have the ball all the time. Like that's who, and you're living and dying dependent upon whether or not Paolo Banchero delivers or Giannis delivers or Donovan Mitchell delivers or Gilgeous-Alexander delivers or Luka Doncic delivers or Jalen Brunson delivers or Ja Morant delivers. Like, they just don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's weird. If you look at the box from last night, I got it. It got weird late. But like,
bro, he made those.
Oklahoma City made 40 field goals last night, right?
Sheesh.
On 82 shots. The Pacers made 32 field goals on 37 field goals. So 3 less field goals on the same amount of shots. You go to rebounding. It was 43-35. So you got a little bit of an edge there for Oklahoma City. The turnover number was not extreme. 15 turnovers for the Pacers. Like, the big difference is they hit the same amount of three-pointers in the game, so that was even. They made 10 more free throws. Oklahoma City made 10 more free throws while going to the line 7 more times. So
he also does not go to the line at all. He shot 0 free throws the first 2 games of the series.
Yeah, right. He does not go to.
He does not shoot any free throws.
And I mean, there was not some kind of massive discrepancy in a lot of like the shots that they made.
Yeah.
It was 3 field goals. 10 free throws is a big difference, right? 10 free throws is a big difference. And it was a 16-point margin in the end. But they hit 3 less field goals and the same amount of threes. Like, typically when we've been watching these games, one of those numbers is much greater, right? Especially in a 16-point win.
Yeah.
You look at the box score and you're like,
Yeah.
this is kind of crazy. They didn't take, even in game 1, Oklahoma City took 1 million more shots than them.
Yeah.
They took the same amount of field goals and had 3 more makes. And then they took, obviously, 7 more free throws, but had 10 more makes.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a big discrepancy in terms of the numbers. It's very odd. And it wasn't like they didn't also give up a ton of points in the paint. It's like 42-34. It's not like extreme. Like none of them is extreme. And honestly, if you would have told me the Pacers would hold them to 4 fast break points, that's a win. So I mean, it should speak to how well they played last night. Oklahoma City did, but I kind of look like if you get role players playing well, you keep your turnovers like at a close to that number. I don't know. I felt like a lot of people came out of last night, and maybe that's just like I don't know. It confirmation bias. Right, I thought Oklahoma City was going to win, and so this is now, and they shouldn't have lost game 1 anyway, and that may be so. But I didn't watch last night's game thinking this is going to be non-competitive going forward, and game 1 was a fluke. No. I watched last night's game thinking the Pacers will win game 3.
Yeah,
or we in for at least a 6 or 7 game series.
I would be stunned if they go back to Oklahoma City and it's not 2-2.